West Cork Beard Company make beard oil and beard balm for a strong, healthy, great-looking beard. Handmade from all natural ingredients in Clonakilty, West Cork. Check out their YouTube channel for beard care tips and advice, or catch them online at westcorkbeardcompany.ie.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Hope you're all well. I am. Buzzing. I hope you're all good. Hope you all enjoyed that yesterday. Beating Spurs. Yes. Come on. Get in there. A game. I saw a good friend of mine, Dan from Burkamp Wonderland podcast, tweeted out, great, we beat Spurs. Anything else is a bonus. And I think he's absolutely right. So important that we beat them yesterday. And to do it at home, absolutely fantastic. I'm sure you all enjoyed it as much as I did and as much as we did. A great weight lifted off the shoulders. I was worrying about that all week long. Dan, how are you?
Very well, mate. The trip to the dentist is now over and it all went well, because that is the only thing the only analogy I can compare a North London derby is to going to the dentist. You just want it to be over and it all to go well. And that is exactly what happened yesterday, mate. So I am still buzzing. I've got a week off work as well, which is great because I had to use some leave up. So I'm going to sit there and try and win some money on Cheltenham this week and enjoy the North London derby result all week, mate. And I'm just going to let it drag out.
Absolutely. And why not? Because if that other lot had won, they'd be doing the same thing. Mr. Mark, he's back. How are you, sir?
Yeah, man. Good. Nothing to not be happy about after that sort of weekend, is there? Do you know what I mean? That is. And I had cheese on toast last night. Very, very well done.
I saw it. It looked very nice, I have to say.
It was a little bit burnt, judges. I've got to be honest. But, just like somebody's fingers.
Judges, are you happy about yesterday's result?
Yeah, listen, I'm gonna, I might nod off in this today. I'm really sorry, because I've had a late night. I stayed up till 4 o'clock in the morning, not just watching the game. I just had Jose Mourinho's interview just on rewind all the time. It was absolutely wonderful. And to make it worse, make it even better, I then had Jermaine Genius's one on as well. And I'll tell you what, I haven't laughed so much since Laurel and Hardy films. You know what I mean? Unbelievable. It was just so, it was comedy gold. It was. And then I thought today I'd get up early and go fishing. And that's what I've been. I've been fishing today. Fishing. I have caught loads of Spurs fans in my net, and I love it. Absolutely love it.
Brilliant stuff. Good evening to you all in the chat box. We hope you are all well. Good evening to you, and good morning and good afternoon if you're listening to on audio or you're watching us back on YouTube. Don't forget our sponsor, the West Cork Beard Company. Link below in the description. If you could support Colin, I would be very, very grateful. A couple of quick shout-outs. Good evening to you, Pids. Happy birthday. I believe it was your birthday over the weekend, and someone's put in here, can we give you a shout-out? So happy birthday to you, and happy birthday to Liam. Happy birthday to Liam. His 40th birthday tomorrow. What a beautiful 40th birthday present, Liam. What a beauty of a present.
Happy birthday, Liam.
Dan, let's start with you, mate. The North London derby. I thought Arsenal was superb all through up until Tottenham scored a goal. And I'm thinking, oh, no. This is going to happen again. We're going to have all the ball. We're going to have all the chances. We should have put 3 away ourselves. And now we are 1-0 down. Talk to me about your afternoon yesterday, mate.
It was superb, mate. Me and Mark started it together. I went left in with the kids while I went and watched the North London derby with my old man. And I must admit, when we saw the team news, we were a little bit shocked with the Aubameyang situation, which I won't go into because I'm sure we'll touch on that later. And I think that was just all it was, really. It was a bit like what's happened there. Looked at the rest of the lineup and wasn't too frustrated. Was quite happy to see Cedric ahead of Bellerin, if I'm honest with you. Was okay with the back line and was never really know what centre-half pairing he's going to go with, but I was happy with that because I think both Luiz and Gabriel have been performing well of late. No shocks in the midfield. And for me, good to see Willian on the bench because I don't think he's done enough of late. I know he's been better, but I don't think he's done enough to get a start for the North London derby. So as far as the team news was concerned, without Aubameyang, obviously Lacazette came in and it was okay. The first 5 minutes of it, Craig, if I'm honest with you, Saka and Cedric down that right were causing Reguilon a lot of problems in the first 5-10 minutes. And then it switched and Tierney and Smith Rowe, who I wasn't a fan of, by the way, Smith Rowe, playing on this left-hand side. But he was absolutely outstanding in the first half. I mean, I thought he was our best player. Him and Tierney, absolutely superb. All over him, dominate him, don't we? Hit the crossbar with Smith Rowe's shot, hit the post. And then what do? Go down and score a Rabona. Which for me, I mean, listen, you sometimes have got to put your hands up and say, I don't think anyone could have done anything about that. It was a great finish from Lamela. And then what does he do? He goes and gets himself sent off, which is absolutely brilliant when you do something so great like that. Absolutely hilarious. We get ourselves back into the game and then, you know, we can discuss later whether you think it was a penalty or not. But overall, the performance, Craig, wasn't just the individuals for me. It was the work rate off the ball. I thought there was a lot of running, particularly in our midfield. I thought Ødegaard, for me, man of the match performance. He was outstanding, particularly in the second half. And Smith Rowe, both of them too, look quite similar when they're kind of up here, kind of zooming out from the play. They look. I sometimes have to look and say, who is that? Is that Smith Rowe or Ødegaard? Which one is it? They're very similar on the ball. Very similar style. Massive fan of them both. And I weren't so sure if they could both play in the same team, Craig, but certainly proved me wrong yesterday. I thought they were both of them absolutely outstanding. Lacazette took a while to come into the game, if I'm honest with you. I thought he had a poor first half and was fine in the second. But I just want to bring up something that I don't think was mentioned at all in this game that I think was so great and so brilliant, which was Pepe's pass to Lacazette for that penalty.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I'm sorry, but if that's Messi, we're going on about that all week. That pass, the precision, the technique, the pace and ability of that ball, and the initiative to see, actually, the keeper's giving it to me here. I can see my striker right on. First time pass, that was one of the best passes I have seen, period, in an Arsenal shirt. It was absolutely superb, and no one went on about it, you know, because there was always also so much to talk about, obviously. But I look at the quality of this lad sometimes, and he is probably technically one of the best players at the club, Pepe. I really believe that. And I just want to see him get game time now. I was a bit frustrated not to see him. I thought he should have started. Obviously, the players had a great game and it didn't matter anyway. But I just want to see him push on now, Pepe, because I was quite impressed when he come on. He caused a lot of havoc. That pass was absolutely outstanding and one that no one really mentioned so much. So I've got to give him praise for that. And of course, lastly, overall, we tried to do what we always do and make it hard for ourselves at the end. I thought Thomas Partey looked leggy, was giving away the ball and giving away fouls, which nearly got him back into the game. But overall, Craig, we thoroughly deserved the win. We dominated the game, dominated the ball. And I think if we would have come away with anything other than 3 points, it would have been just not deserved at all, because I thoroughly felt we deserved that. And I was surprised by Tottenham's tactics, if I'm honest with you, because a lot of people said, oh, they'll sit back and let us have the ball. And that's what they usually do. But of the last few games, they haven't been doing that. And I thought that if Jose would have done his homework, he would have known that put pressure and go high intensity against Arsenal, they will make errors. And they didn't want to do it. They were happy for us to have the ball. When they got the goal, like you, Craig, I thought, here we go. This is going to be 1-0 now. They're going to part the bus. And we carried on. And I think we thoroughly deserved the win. So I'm a happy bunny. And we move on to Olympiacos.
Absolutely. Mark, I remember a couple of weeks ago, you said that, you know, what was the point of bringing in Ødegaard?
I'm glad you brought that up. Is your mind changed at all? Well, first of all, I was asked if I was excited about Ødegaard coming in. And at the time, no, I wasn't. And the reason I wasn't was because he was a lad who hadn't really done an awful lot for me. And I still stand by the fact that I don't like the fact that we've took a player on loan who we are giving game time to, who has pushed Smith Rowe out of position for me, although he's doing very well on the left-hand side, and he did start his career as a winger, as Freddie Lundberg enlightened us to yesterday, that we haven't got an option to buy this lad. So all the while that his stock is going up and up and up, he's becoming more and more unaffordable to Arsenal Football Club, in my opinion. So
Great point.
It's that's why I wasn't excited about it, because you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. If he turns up here and he's a pile of dump, then we don't want him. And if he turns up here and he sets the world alight, Real Madrid are going to quite happily take him back. So this is my issue with loans without the option to buy. So that's why I wasn't excited, because Arsenal Football Club, in my opinion, should be bigger than that. But having said that, what a fantastic talent he is. You know, I can totally understand why Arteta's got him in. He's majestic on the ball, isn't he? But I still, you know, he's adding goals. You know, that's 2 in 2, isn't it? You know, and but Smith Rowe, for me, you know, I felt so sorry for him, because that shot that hit the crossbar, that was a thing of beauty, wasn't it? And how that would have set alight a North London derby. What a way that would have been for him to get his first Premier League goal. You know, it'd probably be against Burnley away on a rainy night, tap-in now, but you know, that would have been something unbelievable. I guess that doesn't matter how it comes, does it? But that would have been something else. But to answer your question, I'm glad that we've got him, and I hope to God that we can keep a hold of him and maybe tie him down. You know, and he's talking, he's making some sounds. We understand, if it is to be believed, that he feels like he's at home, and maybe he made the wrong decision all them years ago when he chose Real Madrid over us. Maybe he's now thinking, you know, this could be the place for me. And player power does have a little bit to do with it. Real Madrid might want to keep him now, but he might say, well, you didn't give me my chance. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to come back. So, you know, I would say that. And a couple of birthday shout-outs before you move on is for Pids and for Aaron's Demella. It's birthdays in the group chat. So happy birthday to you guys.
Happy birthday to you all. Happy birthday to you all. Ødegaard. God, he's a player that I hope we can keep. I hope we can keep hold of him. I want to sign him on. I definitely want to sign him. Fantastic.
Definitely.
Man, like Dan says, man of the match yesterday. Judges, how did your afternoon go in the Towers?
Oh, very, very good. First and foremost, you know, it's always great to beat them, but afterwards to get a free delivery of McDonald's come down, like that was lovely. Like, you know what I mean, like a Big Mac.
What'd you get?
Grand Big Mac I had, like, and I absolutely loved it. Like, you know what I mean?
A grand Big Mac.
A grande. Lovely it was. So like,
just a half a lemonade to go with that, though.
It was. I had a. That's not very nice. No, I had a. I thought I'd be right up there today and go all the way out, and I had a large Diet Coke as well. Like, you know what I mean?
No wonder you didn't go to sleep till 4.
Oh no! I was buzzing, like, you know. And I've had my dinner today, so like, which I was going to have last. It's been a great day, isn't it? Like, you know. So so I had a great day. I don't like those games. I'm going to be honest. I don't like those games. I don't. They emotionally they get to me. I have to say, like, you know, and but it's very, very difficult. I don't. Hopefully that is the last time I ever have to watch a North London derby in front of a TV screen. You know what I mean? Like, I'll be able to go because those watch-alongs, it's just not for me on a North London derby. But we got the result, guys. You know what I mean? And you know, our first win against them since lockdown. Like, you know, the other 2 games have been at Tottenham's ground, and we've lost both of them. So it was nice to get the win. I thought that we played really well. If you want to be honest, you know, we should have been 3-0 up before they scored. Chances again missed. But I will say this, you know, David Luiz, I thought, played really, really well. Gabriel has come back after that Benfica game. I think that, you know, maybe he did get dropped, and that's kicked his, you know, to kick up the old backside he needed, because he was superb. I then got to say that the 2 midfield players yesterday, I know that Dan mentioned Partey. He refuses to mention Granit Xhaka. You know what I mean? It was absolutely outstanding as well alongside him. I felt that the last 10 minutes, maybe like because of Thursday night and the travelling and all that, I think it took its toll a little bit, because we took Smith Rowe off. We Partey, you know, and expected to really like run out of gas, and also Lacazette did. You know, the work rate that they done, but and probably Ødegaard as well. Now, what I like about Ødegaard is not only is he a quality player, like some of his football yesterday was brilliant, but his work rate yesterday was absolutely different class. Now, when people turn around and say, "Oh, you've got to have this player at number 10, a luxury player," he is a luxury player, but he's prepared to work hard as well and do the dirty stuff as well. And I'm a big fan of his now because of that. Like, you know, thought he was brilliant yesterday. But what we are now is a completely different side to what we was when we played them the first time, and that was the interesting thing for me, because I see a complete difference. What I mean by that was that when we played them at White Hart Lane before Christmas, we could still be out there now the way we was playing. We wouldn't have scored. But yesterday, because of Ødegaard, because of Smith Rowe in the team, we was coming from all angles. It was fantastic. The left hand side, poor old. What's his name? Doherty, you know what I mean? I know he's an Arsenal fan, but my life, you know what I mean? He didn't know what to do.
Agent Matthew?
Oh, could be. Because what was great about it was that when Smith Rowe dropped, if he went with Smith Rowe, then there was the gap from behind, and Tierney went into it and roasted him. And if he then actually stayed and thought, I'll stay here, like, and Smith Rowe drops in, then the ball was going into Smith Rowe, and he was then having a field day. I think honestly they targeted that, and so and that is why I have got some new decorations in my background, because I have decided that I am now Mikel Arteta in.
Wow!
And I have now come off the fence. I believe I'm seeing progress in the manager and what I see yesterday. I know it was against a poor man's team, poor Spurs team, and it was against a poor Spurs team. I will say that. But I watched a fantastic performance against Leicester when we totally dominated the team in the top in the top four away from home. I haven't seen that for a very, very long while. And then I see what I see yesterday. Brilliant result in midweek as well on the Thursday, 3 goals. So Mikel, long it may continue, my Spanish friend. Long may it continue.
Well. That's a complete surprise to me. Lee, welcome to the Dumb and Dumber and Dumber
Judges
club.
has left me. Judges has completely screwed me over there. He's left me right on my
own.
own.
Up there.
He's flip-flopped up there.
Up there, like, you know. Now, I've not. I have actually not. The thing when you were Dumber and Dumber, you turned around and said that you was going to get top 4. That was what you two turned around and said.
We still might. We still might.
Oh, that's great.
Mathematically possible. It's mathematically possible.
Well, listen, I love a bit of positivity, Craig, like, you know what I mean? But I'll tell you what, if we get top 4, I'm buying you, I'm going to send you down to Harley Street for a wig transplant, and on me, like, you know.
All right. I'll keep you to that.
Yeah, okay, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'll save me money, don't worry.
What have you got to lose, Craig? You know what I mean? You might
exactly.
Well, by this time, he'll lose a few more ears.
It's mathematically possible. And while it's still mathematically possible, I will hope it happens.
Talking about mathematically possible and
what's wrong with that?
Yesterday's win, 41 points. We can't go down. We're safe.
Dan, talk to me about Smith Rowe on the left-hand side. How good was he yesterday? I mean, I was like you when the team come out and I saw it, I was like, oh God, you know. And what we'll get onto the Aubameyang thing in a minute, but that was the only thing I was looking on the team sheet and I was thinking, oh Christ, what's he doing here? You know, he's Pepe on the bench, Willian on the bench, proper wingers. Why is he playing him out there? But by God, Dan, he was a close call for man of the match as well, wasn't he?
Extremely close. Yeah, extremely close. I think he won the first half and Ødegaard just nicked it because he was okay in the first, got the goal, and he was superb in the second. So it was close between those two for me. But I remember me and Lee talking only last week saying, what's he playing Smith Rowe on the left for now ahead of Pepe and ahead of Martinelli, who again wasn't in the squad, you know? And we were like, what's going on here? You know, is he now 6th choice on the left, Martinelli? But I think it's because of his work rate, Smith Rowe. And he's bought into this new philosophy that Arteta says and keeps saying that he's got, which is that everyone is to work hard. And I think looking at the Martin Ødegaard situation, Mesut Ozil was never one to track back. He was never one to run. And I think what Smith Rowe and Martin Ødegaard have shown is that they are willing to do that. Their work rate off the ball was absolutely magnificent. And it was good from everybody, if I'm honest with you. But I thought that it was brilliant, particularly for those two. The other thing about Smith Rowe that I liked was his combination with Tierney down the left-hand side. Just seems like, I know I give the guy so much credit and he is my favourite player. And I don't want to be too biased about the lad, but he just gets better and better, Kieran Tierney. Every time I see him, and he was the one that I looked at today. And I know we'll come on to it in a minute about Aubameyang, but he was the one that I looked at as the captain out there because he's given the fight, he's got the passion, he seems to understand what it's like to be a part of a derby. And I know that he's got that from his Celtic and Rangers previous kind of role, but he must have brought that over here because he looked like he was one of the best players on the pitch. And I know he had an absolute shocker, Doherty, but I think some of that was down to how good Kieran Tierney was. And his link-up play with Smith Rowe was sensational. And like Mark, I actually felt sorry for the lad when it hit the bar because it just would have been the perfect first goal to get. And it really would have announced him onto the scene because he's been called up for the England under-21s today, Smith Rowe, which is fully deserved. And I think even Gareth Southgate might be sniffing around to see how he gets on because I know there's a lot of players in that position, the Fodens, the Sakas, the Grealishes, the Madisons, but he's right up there at the moment, the way he's playing. And I think since the kind of January where he got his kind of debut, I don't think there's anyone that's created as many more chances in an Arsenal shirt than Smith Rowe. So it proves how influential he's been. And he's willing to play on that left, Craig, as well. You know, he'll come into that team. I've seen him on the right a couple of times when he switched, see him on the left yesterday. And obviously we saw him in the number 10 position. I think this kid is taking his chance and he's doing exactly what Arteta wants him to do and what the fans want him to do. He will be a fan's favourite when we go back to the ground, no doubt, Smith Rowe. I think he's going to be a fantastic talent. And of course, he's wearing the shin pads and the socks like Jack Grealish. So let's hope he's going to be as good as him because if he's half as good, I'll take it all day long. I think he's a terrific talent.
Exactly. I'll just bring this in here. This is from Emmett Anderson. Thank you very much, Emmett, for your kind donation. Great win. Despite results, we've obviously turned a corner in terms of performances. Keep it up, lads. And up the judges.
Oh,
none of that.
No, thank you very much.
Yeah.
No flip-flop lovers on it.
You don't like it up him, Judge. He doesn't like it up him. No.
If you'd like to become a member, there's a link down in the description. You can become a member of the channel and you can donate to us that way. If you don't want to put in super chats. Now,
Lee Havana.
I think Mel had a...
yeah, I'm just coming here. They're all hail Lord Judges.
Lord Havana of Havana flip-flops.
Yes, of Havana flip-flops. Arteta he said, and to be fair, you can understand. Win against Chelsea, win against United, win against Spuds. Yeah. I mean, this is a nice point. We haven't had a manager who's done that for a long time.
No, that's why I've been sitting. I've been a bit, I'm not going to lie. I've said to Dan many a times, I'm sitting well on the fence and flip-flop. I have flip-flopped, I must admit, because one week I think he's good, next week he's not. But I did say, didn't I, Dan? And you can back me. I said that I'm going to judge him after these 2 games. Well, 3 games. Olympiacos.
Well, there won't be any splinters in your backside, Lee, because you're flipping flopping so much, mate. You don't have enough time to sit on that fence.
I'm flipping and flopping more like a Big Mac burger.
I don't get the flip flop thing. I don't get it. You can only judge him on what you can after a game, like what you do, Lee. When you're on Arsenal fan TV and stuff.
And that's what I don't mind being called a flip flop because at the end of the day, as Kevin, quite rightly said on your show with him, I go on results, and I think that's what fans do and should do.
We all flip flop. That's what happens. These fans, part of it. We'll get down, don't we? And then we all get up when we win. That's what happens.
And
especially with this side this season, we've been hugely inconsistent. That's the key to it. Of course, you're going to be upset when we lose, and you're going to be happy when we win. And we have, we've had these big results against big clubs. Arteta has been the master at winning against the odds, but it's then when we've gone away to the Burnleys and the Crystal Palaces. They're
the games he's got.
They're the games we've got to start winning. You know what I mean? So, and that's where the flip flopping comes in because the expectation level goes through the roof when you beat Spuds, and then the next week you get done by Burnley and you're fuming. You know what I mean? So this is, and it's the same players. Granit Xhaka yesterday, for example. I have to say, and I want to say that we're very quick to have a pop at that lad, but yesterday. he was getting a lot of stick on that pitch a few times.
Just ruined my question for you. But go on.
Yeah.
well, you know, he was getting a lot of stick from Lamella yesterday off the ball, a lot of niggles and stuff like that. And actually, Lamella ended up getting himself sent off because Luiz and Xhaka didn't react, and that's credit to them actually. And it's worth mentioning that he could have quite easily got sent off yesterday, Xhaka.
I was going to ask you before we. Miss Mel, this must have been something special in Lee's Big Mac. Lee trusting the process now. Ha! Great show as always, lads. Thank you very much, Mel, for your kind donation.
That's shout out to Melina, someone who knows.
That's all the way from Canada, I believe. Well, is that Canada?
I think she comes from Canada.
Yeah.
She's up early then. What time is it out in Canada?
Yeah, what time is it in Canada, Mel?
What time it is?
A lot of people were giving Granit Xhaka a stick against Burnley. Rightly so. Horrible mistake to make. But yesterday was one of our best players.
He was. I think Lee's got something to say. What's up?
I have got something to say. 3:30 in Canada, so that's not too bad. Not too bad. Thanks for joining us from Cant. I've got to say, when Granit Xhaka made that tackle on Doherty, that was as good as a goal. I jumped like, get in there and take that.
That could have so easily been a foul. And this is, do you know what I'm saying? It was
lovely.
It was, but when you go in to ground like that in the last minute of the game when you're winning, there's no need for it. There's no need.
And he
did do it, and we love him for it. Yeah. But then next week, when he does it again and gets sent off and we lose the game because he's given a penalty away, you can't love him still.
Listen, that was fantastic what he done yesterday. That just showed you what it meant to him yesterday. Put his body on the line yesterday. And I'll tell you what, I honestly think, people in the chat can talk. There's a lot of haters for Granit Xhaka. I understand why, and I get the reasons why. But I'll tell you what, his performance yesterday, doing what he done yesterday, I think he's got a few more on side now, definitely. Because I know he's not. I know he causes whatever, but he showed yesterday a tremendous amount of discipline, as you rightly say, Mark. They're trying to wind him up because we know that he is a bit of a hothead, but he took that really well. That Lamella. And what I like about him is that when they done that tackle on Partey, he's straight over there. You know what I mean? Protector and all that, and we've got that now. We've got that with Cheney. We've got that with him. We've got that with Partey. A couple of people now that are starting to, and I love it.
There's a little brotherhood forming there, isn't there? Yeah, we haven't had that for ages. Ages.
If I'm going over the top today or whatever, any Arsenal fan is entitled to go over the top when you beat them down the road, and that's it. I don't care where you are in the league, because those I've had so many of them today. You're 10th in the league. We celebrate and all that. I said, what have you done for the last 20 years? You've done that. When you've got when you scored against us, you've gone mad. You know what I mean? Enjoy it while you can, because you don't know how long it's going to last. Enjoy crushing that team as many times as we can, and I love it. And I will continue to do it, whether we are top, bottom, middle, or whatever. Get in there and enjoy it. They are the most arrogant supporters I ever know. I went on the Spurs channel the other day, putting in the chat, they're going to win 3 or 4-0. You know what I mean? And they still don't learn, because they're the gift that keeps on giving.
And we can't smile without you.
Love it.
Dan Gabriel yesterday, that clearance off the goal line. As good as a goal. Routine. As good as a goal.
Yeah. Brilliant yesterday, wasn't he?
Gabriel is our best centre-half. And he always has been at the club. Yeah. And unfortunately, when he got COVID, everybody said that he was going to go downhill. He was brushing off the cobwebs. He was trying to get himself better. And now he has. And he's put in a man-of-the-match performance against Olympiacos. And he's cleared one of the best clearances off the line yesterday, and had an all-round fantastic performance. And what I like about Gabriel is it doesn't actually matter who plays next to him, whether it's Holding, whether it's Luiz, whether it's Pablo Mari. I would say that next to Rob Holding, he's probably the weakest, I would say, as a centre-half pairing, but he's certainly not bad. And I think he could play next to anybody Gabriel. I think he's a great centre-half. And I'm massively impressed. I was impressed with the signing because I liked him in France, as I said. I was excited, and everybody said they didn't know much about him, but I was excited because of what I saw from the French football that I saw, and I thought, wow, this kid could be great. 22 years old he was at the time. And he looked like something we have not had for a long time. And I think that is what he's showing now. He's showing he's got presence, he's a command of his area, he's a battler, and he's an old school kind of love defending type, which I think is great. But more importantly, he can play. You know, he can actually pass the ball. He's comfortable on that left-hand side. He looks to play well with Tierney and link up well with Tierney. He looks to be a communicator from what you can see and what you can hear without the sounds. You can hear him talking. I'm a massive fan of this lad, and I'm also a massive fan of Pablo Mari. And I think that although I feel we do need a centre-half still next to Gabriel, I think that Pablo Mari and him should be allowed to form a partnership, because although they're both left-footed, I really don't see that as a huge issue, because I think that they would complement each other. So I'm a massive fan of Gabriel. And, you know, people talk about Granit Xhaka. I mean, listen, I'm not his biggest fan. I mean, everybody knows he's not. He was great yesterday. And the reason I never get too excited about Granit Xhaka, and people always say, oh, you never give him credit, is because I know that what Burnley happened against Burnley is going to happen again before the end of this season. And that is what I don't want. I want to clear that out from this side. I want to move forward, not backwards. So that's all I'll say about Granit Xhaka. I thought he was outstanding yesterday. And hopefully I don't see another Burnley incident before the end of the season and he proves me wrong.
Absolutely. Mark, you're a massive fan of Gabriel. You're in the group chat there. You like to talk him up. What's that?
The singer.
Dreams can come true.
They did yesterday, didn't they? They did yesterday.
All I want is cheese.
Gabrielle, didn't she ring? She was the fox, wasn't she?
She was a fox back in the day.
Cheese comes.
No, in the Masked Singer. No. Anyway, Gabrielle, proper
Gabrielle, what a goal against Olympiacos, you know, and then what a performance yesterday as well. Looks like, you know, Arteta has brought him back into the side. Like Lee said, he had a little poor run there, but now he looks like he could be back to his best. And like Dan says, you know, probably is our best centre half.
Competition for places, isn't it? You know, people have got to step up and make it their own. You know, this is the thing, isn't it? You know, when you've got real, genuine strength in depth, you know, it goes a long way, doesn't it? You know, and thank God we haven't got Mustafi still at the back heading the ball back to Leno. You know what I mean? It could be an awful lot worse, couldn't it? He's a proper centre half, mobile, and I like his temperament as well. You know, Harry Kane wiping him out yesterday. Should have been a booking, at least. And he doesn't react, you know what I mean? A lot of lesser men would have jumped up and gone over OTT there, which is exactly the dark arts that Harry Kane employs. And listen, let's not get carried away with Harry Kane about it, because he's got it in his game. And let's face it, if he's playing up front for us, we love him like Diego Costa. That's all he is. He'd do anything to win. He's 100% committed to winning football games for Tottenham Hotspur. We only hate it because he plays for them. If he played for us, he'd be our villain, as you've always said, Craig, with Diego Costa and people like that. He's a world class, arguably the best in the business at what he does, Harry Kane, and he was injured yesterday. Let's make no bones about it. And you could tell with his frustration, the way he was putting himself about, backing into people. Louise yesterday, Harry Kane backed into him about 3 times the way he has been when people are up in the air. And David Luiz didn't jump against him yesterday. He just went into the back of him with his elbows and knees. He didn't jump, and because he knew Harry Kane weren't going to jump, and he just went bump into the back of him, just went, there you go, have a bad back. Bang. That's all you got to do. Don't jump against him. No point. Because, by the way, Harry Kane's about 6'4" as well, and you do well to win head against him, to be honest. He's a beast in the air. So just don't bother. Just bump him in the back, you know what I mean, and just give him a bad back all game. And David Luiz done it superbly well. Gabriel and Luiz, I like them as a centre-half pairing. I do like Mari as well. So, it's a real... And I don't think Rob Holding's done an awful lot wrong. So it's a good problem to have, isn't it? When you've got 4 centre halves that are playing really well, really happy.
Apparently, Karen. Sorry, Craig. Just quickly, Karen said that the Harlequin was Gabrielle and the Masked Singer, mate, not the Fox. So get it right, Mark. Get it right.
Oh, there you go.
Well done, Karen. I knew she was on there somewhere. Fantastic she was. Iconic voice. I mean, there was no point in her having a mask on, to be honest.
I actually,
it was like her and Lenny Henry, wasn't it? I mean, Lenny Henry might as well come out in a red nose. Do you know what I mean? It was ridiculous.
Changing the subject completely
to
the voice. I got all 3 right that night on the final, and I got Josh Stone. I was really pleased with myself. Just to let everyone.
Well played, Josh Stone. That was hard, Josh Stone. Well played.
You don't get no points for guessing. What's his name?
Lenny Henry.
Lenny Henry. I mean, the first song he sang in a purple bed, didn't he? Might as well have done, mightn't he?
Karen says, Craig, can you ask the panel, will Kane get punished for his dirty play like he did yesterday? I think Mark's touched on it now, saying that that's part of Harry Kane's game. But Lee, I don't think nothing will happen to him. It's gone. It's been and gone.
Harry Kane gets away.
It was an awful challenge. He really could have done him some damage there. The way
if he went on the Miles Singer, he'd win it. They'd give it to him. You know
well, you'd have to tell who he was straight away.
Well, Andy Pandy. You know what I mean? So, now, like, for me, look, listen, we know what he's done. It's out of sheer frustration what he's done that, because he's been, listen, I'm not going to lie, I've made a few challenges like that in my day back in the day, because it's just out of frustration, because it's not your day. You're being marked out of the game. You're being taken out. End of the day, I have to say. But in this day and age, I've seen players get sent off for it or whatever, but he's never going to get sent off for it. Very, very similar. I think you've got to understand with Harry Kane, being captain of England gives you special privileges. Alan Shearer kicked Lennon in the head back in just before the World Cup in '98, and he actually went up to the panel and said, "If you ban me for this game, then because if he'd have been banned for that, if he'd have got the sending off that he should have done, he would have been banned for the cup final." All right, and he went to the disciplinary and he said, "If you ban me for that cup final, I'm not playing for England ever again." So they said, "Okay, Alan, Lennon headbutted your foot," and they let him off. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. And Harry Kane will get that same situation with him as well, like, So, So what I don't like about Harry Kane, I think, as Mark said and alluded to, he's a very, very good player. But as soon as there's a foul, he's in there chirping away, trying to get players sent off, and he's doing it himself. So, but listen, I thought David Luiz and Gabriel done a good job on him yesterday. I don't buy into this thing that he's injured. Every time he has a bad game, he's injured. You know what I mean? If he was injured, don't play him. Simple as that. You know what I mean? They've got other players, other professional footballers at the football club, and if you're playing Harry Kane that ain't fit, if you was that other fella that celebrated his hat-trick against a non-league side, you wouldn't be happy, would you?
No, exactly not. Exactly, you wouldn't. Just before we move on to the Aubameyang thing, actually, we'll move straight on to it because I've forgotten what I was gonna. I've actually completely forgotten what I was going to say. So we're looking at the team sheet yesterday that comes out. No Aubameyang. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, no Aubameyang. Right, he must be injured. And then we get to hear that it's a disciplinary record. Now, I absolutely lost the plot. I was so downstairs shouting at the telly, sitting there. My wife was going, "What's wrong with you?" Shouting at the telly, "What are you leaving Aubameyang out for a North London derby? The most important game of the fucking year. And you're leaving him out. What's he done so wrong that you've been left him out?" Now, that's me as a supporter, feeling the emotion of the day, and he's leaving our best player out. But I suppose when you take a step back from it, like I did last night, when you're mulling the game over in your head, and you're mulling over Arteta's decisions in your head, Lee, that could be one of the best decisions he ever makes as Arsenal manager. And what I mean by that is that has sent out a massive, massive message to the rest of them. I mean, he's left out his captain, his talisman, and that is a massive, massive message to the rest of the players. Now, normally what happens, Lee, is when I finish talking, you can talk. Okay. So when I finish, you can talk. Lee, the Aubameyang situation.
Sorry, sir. Just before we start on this very important thing, Tony's little daughter Harper's watching, like, you know, and I love my little Harper. So, hello, Harper. I hope you're having a good time at school. So, everybody say hello to Harper, please. Like, you know. She is absolutely gorgeous and my favourite little girl out there at the moment in this world. So, going on to Aubameyang, I'm going to say one thing about that. I was a little bit disappointed with at first because when Mikel turned around and said, "Oh, I've disciplined him," and then said, "Well, what for?" And then he turns around and says, "Oh, I'm not telling you." I thought it was a little bit. I wasn't too happy about that. Before the North, all he had to do was say, "Look, you know, two things he had to do was say, yeah, I've disciplined him. He's been late." And I think that would have been fair, or just turn around and say, "I've chose to go with with Lacazette," and then say it after the game if he felt that he needed to. I think that it was a little bit. It was a little bit. I don't know. Oh, it's about me a little bit. I'm going to be honest, but because it was a big North London derby. But listen, if he's late, I don't care if he's stuck in traffic. I don't care if he's. It's a little bit different. You know, you get a sat-nav on there, don't you? Wherever you go, you put it on the sat-nav just to see how long you're going to take. And if it says there's traffic in whatever, you look at it and you just say, okay, I've got to leave 10, 15 minutes early. Now, apparently what I have been told by a couple of things there, that it's not the first time that he's done it. Like, you know, he's been late. When you're captain of a football club, you have a responsibility. And that responsibility is not just getting the armband on it, it's to lead by example. So really, if you're captain, you should be there first, not coming in late and everything like that. And what he's done is he's put Mikel in a real awkward position, because what he could have done was, say if somebody else kept turning up late and you're letting Aubameyang off, right? Then you're going to you know, like that player's going to turn around and say it, like, you know. Now, this is a true story. I think I've told this story before, but I will tell this, like, you know. Ian Wright used to turn up late for training all the time, like, yeah, right? And the players were getting the hump with it, right? So they got Tony Adams to go in, like, you know, and say, right, Arsenal, you know, he keeps turning up, like, you know, up past 10. It's a 10 o'clock. You know, and he keeps turning up late. It's not good and all that. So Arsenal went, yeah, I'll sort it out. So the next day on the notice board, it turned around and said, training starts at 10:30. That is a true story, like, you know. And Tony Adams went in there and went, no, we ain't having it. It's 10 o'clock. Make sure he's here. And they pulled him on it. So if he continues to keep doing it, it will upset the apple cart if you're getting away with it all the time. And I think at the end of the day, listen, it didn't come back and bite us in the thing, and it didn't bother me yesterday that it's happening. It's done and dusted. And for me, I think that Mikel done the right thing. The only thing I don't think he was right, we went public with it. Didn't think he needed to do that.
Well, I mean, he's going to have to. He has to go public with it. North London derby, leaving out Aubameyang. I wanted to know why bloody Aubameyang was left out. I think everyone wanted to know why Aubameyang was left out.
Come out and say he was late. Why turn around and say, "Oh, I'm not"? It's a disciplinary issue. What's the disciplinary issue? I'm not telling you. Come out and say he was late. I'm not being all. It comes out 10, 15 minutes into the game. That's the reason for it. Half time, we all knew what it was. And it's not acceptable in being late all the time. It's not acceptable. He's got a fast car. You know what I mean? It's not acceptable.
Dan, your thoughts on the Aubameyang situation? I mean, when the interviews were going on last night, I actually saw a video on Twitter, and you can quite clearly hear a supercar revving its engine and leaving the ground. Now, of course, that's all hearsay. We don't know that was him. That could have been any car outside the Emirates revving its engine, but the noise of it was quite mine. Yeah, it was. You know, the noise of it was quite of a supercar. But we hear today that he stormed out afterwards. Dan, he only stayed behind for 27 minutes or something. He didn't go down to do a He didn't go out to do a warm down with all the other substitutes. I'm not too bothered about him not going to do a warm down. He didn't even play, did he? So I mean, you know, what's the point of him doing a warm down? But him storming off, Dan, does that worry you any little bit?
I don't think so. I don't think it does. I think it's the right decision from Arteta. If you're late as a captain, it's a disgrace as far as I'm concerned. And for the derby, I mean, you shouldn't be late for any game, but being late for the derby is just ridiculous. So the way that I see it is you punish him, and he's done that. And you move on from it now. He's learnt his lesson, hopefully, and he moves on from it. And he probably has left the ground in embarrassment, if I'm honest, because it's a shocking thing to do. We hear it's not a one-off. We hear he's been late a few times, if the rumours are true. I'm all right with Arteta doing it. I'm with Lee, though. I wouldn't have liked him to come out. I would have liked him to come out and said it's just rotation and the discipline stuff happens out away from the press. That's the way I would have liked to have seen it happen, because then you might not see him getting the right hump and storming off, because he's probably found out, he's told everyone that I'm late and that I've been disciplined and now I'm off to get the hump and throw my toys out the pram. So I think that could have potentially been avoided. And with Arteta, it's a bit frustrating for me, and I said this the other day, that it's lack of consistency with some of his decisions, Arteta, that worries me. And he's still learning, I think, in that respect. Because we see it with Pepe getting sent off, and then we saw it with Xhaka getting sent off. There was two reactions from it. One was disgrace, the other one was okay. We've seen it with Guendouzi. He loses his head and says, see you later. We've seen him lose his patience with Maitland-Niles before. So there's a little bit of lack of inconsistency when you look at what Willian did, and the COVID rule breaks of people. They all just get straight back into the team the next game. So I don't like that inconsistency. I'd rather see that sorted out. But it was the right thing to do, in my opinion. And it's shown that he's got some balls, Arteta, because he said it doesn't matter if you're the captain or not. If you're late for the game, you ain't playing, mate. And it was risky, because that's weird. I could hear myself. And it's risky because it could have been a huge risk. It could have backfired massively yesterday. And I don't think we missed him. I don't think we did. And luckily we didn't, for Arteta's sake, because can you imagine, Craig, what the fans would have been like if we'd have lost that game without him?
It would have been
awful. So we're good in that respect. But it had to be done, mate. And, I just hope now we can move on from it, though, and we don't start dragging this out for weeks. I just want him. I'd like to see him play on Thursday and have a stormer. That's what I'd like to see, because he's taken his hopefully he's learned from it. He's taken his punishment. Don't be late again. You're the captain. You lead by example, lead from the top, and get on with your game, because he's top quality, Craig. He is a top quality player, and he's got back into his scoring boots. So let's hope he continues now and we forget about it and move forward.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that's what's going to happen. I hope he's going to come out on Thursday and smash a hat-trick against Olympiacos.
Same here.
Mark, does it, like I said, when that announcement first came out, I knee-jerked. It's Derby Day. I don't want to see Aubameyang left out. But like I said to Dan, that shows, a big pair of balls to do that, and to go on and win the game as well. And everyone's saying that he shouldn't have done it, and he shouldn't have come out public with it. We don't want him to lie to us, though. I don't want Arteta lying on behalf of players. But for me, yesterday could be the turn for a lot of people when they've seen, that is big balls management, what he done yesterday.
Yeah, and I think you could do with taking a leaf out of his book, Craig. I think you need to adopt some of these late policies. I think the judges would never get on. You'd never see Lee Judges again, by the way.
Well,
that'd be the end of it.
To be fair,
if you get your dinner at a reasonable hour, that might help, mightn't it?
He was here at 6:55.
Yeah, I was first. Can I just say I was first here, Craig?
Well done, Lee. Well done.
Just to add to what I said, Mark, there's a lot of as what I've said there in the chat now. They're coming in that it was George Graham-esque, that he's reinstilling.
That's fine.
Rules
and disciplines and stuff like that. What we don't want to do is for him to take away the character of the individuals. We know that Uber's a bit flash. You look at the cars he drives and bits and pieces, and that is what makes him up as the individual that he is, isn't it? So what you don't want to do is suppress the personality, like Lee says, if Ian Wright is late, you just move things around Ian, make sure he's happy, because Ian's happy, he scores goals, the team wins games. So there's a little bit of that, I don't know that you'd have ever seen Alex Ferguson come out and chuck one of his players under the bus. I don't know if you'd have seen that. I think he would have been kept in house. So I agree with the boys in that regard. He would have just said, it's my decision, it's a tactical decision, and it's worked, hasn't it? Lacazette scored, and we've won the game. Do you know what I mean? So that's all he needed to say. I've made a decision, and I've been proven right. What was the score?
So you all want the manager to lie then?
No. there's some things that go on behind the scenes of the football club that we don't need to know.
Yeah.
You know, people punch each other in training matches. It don't mean to say they hate each other or there's a problem in the group.
Oh, I get that, but
It's the same thing then, isn't it? You know, if something goes on behind the scenes, if the lad's late, leave him out. The team have made the statement today, and maybe that's why he left early last night, because he's probably gone home to have a bloody good look at himself and a think about how he doesn't want to feel like he wasn't a part of that celebration in the dressing room, because he contributed nothing towards it. It would have done. You'd have been sat in that dressing room thinking, I should bollocks. I'm sat here on the periphery.
Yeah.
And this changing room's elated, you know, about what they've just done to their North London rivals. And I didn't have anything to do with it. They didn't need me. There's a bit of a dent and like you say, and this is where we need to move on, and I think we will move on. He just needs to score a hat-trick Thursday night, and we go on, and that's the important thing.
I ain't got a problem with him coming out, Craig, and saying he's not playing for disciplinary reasons, and then turn around and say the reason that he's not playing today is because he turned up late.
Well, he doesn't. But he doesn't have to tell. He doesn't have to tell the press why. That what if the press are asking him why? If the press are saying to him, "Why have you left out Aubameyang?" It's for a disciplinary reason. That's it. That's enough. He's out because of a disciplinary reason. We don't need to know that he. We don't need to know that he was late.
About it and all that, like, you know, and it did cause a lot. It could have backfired on him. It didn't, but it could have. You know. Listen, things like that go on in dressing rooms all the time, Craig. Like, you know, someone turns up late, you know, you've got a time to be there.
But it was a North London derby, and it was done 10 minutes before kickoff.
Yeah, you shouldn't be treating a North London derby any different than what you do Burnley away.
Thank you very much. Exactly right. He should be there on time. There's no choice. But I just think if he'd have just come out and said, "You're right. Why is Aubameyang not playing today? Why you put him on the bench?" Well, he's turned up late, and so I've left him out. I don't think no one will have a problem with that. What I had the problem with is you turn around and say it's disciplinary action.
Well, wouldn't the players be thinking, hang on a minute, why is he lying? Why is he lying to the press? What? So if I came in, I was late 10 minutes. I was late last week, and I got £2.5 grand fine. Why is he lying about him? You know, does that not?
Well, it didn't come out, did it, last week, because he's kept it quiet.
No, I'm just saying, if a player has been late,
a little bit. I think there was a little bit yesterday. I've got Aubameyang. I'm going to make an example of it. It's a big thing. I'm going to come out and say something like that. You know what I mean? I do think there was a little bit to that, but at the end of it, it's not Mikel Arteta's fault. This is not his fault. Who's put him in that position? Yeah. Aubameyang's put him in the position for being late. Now, there's no excuses for being late in this day and age. You look at your sat nav, you know what time you've got to be there. And to be honest, you know, if you've got to be there at 1 o'clock, you aim for 12:30. If you're a professional footballer, I think, you know, like get there early, you know, there's nothing worse, I don't think, than being in a rush and you know what I mean, trying to, you know, get your kit ready and whatever. I know, like, it's different at the moment. Like, on normal circumstances, they'd be in a hotel. I don't know the protocols of it all, whether they go in there, have a little bit of lunch, team meeting before the game, which they would do, whether it was in the hotel the night before. It's just one of those things, you know. But ultimately, you know, Aubameyang can steam off and do whatever. It's his fault. But I agree with Mark. You know, that would have hurt him yesterday. First of all, not playing. Secondly, you know, like the celebrations, everything. You know, and thirdly, okay, so he's not done the running today and all that. I bet he's done it today though. I bet he's been told to be in today. If they might have had a day off today or whatever, like. But no one knows what he could have done. He could have turned around and said, "Look, I'm not in the right frame of mind here to do." You know what they sometimes do is they turn around and say, "Look, if you do the running out there today, you can have the day off." Like, you know what I mean? Like, and he's probably said, "Do you know what? I'll come in tomorrow," or something like that. I don't think it's as big a deal as what people are making. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
one thing I will say about it, I mean, we've sat here and other Arsenal fans have sat and talked, and you know, on Twitter, we're having a game. Why isn't Arteta ruthless enough? So here we have tomorrow. Here we have yesterday. He's been completely ruthless. And we're all sitting here saying that he shouldn't have come out in the public.
No, there's a difference between being ruthless and coming out in the public and telling people. He was ruthless yesterday. But listen, I'm going to tell you something now, right? That, and it's a fact anyway.
All right,
that ain't
Dad.
the first time. If it was the first time, he would have played. He's done that before. It's an ongoing problem with him, and he's gone. Enough's enough. Everybody can be late once. It can happen. Like, you're caught in traffic. What are you going to, it's a little bit harsh if you're a little bit right. I've got no doubt that he's on the phone saying, look, I'm running late or whatever. Okay, get here when you can. Right. But to be a serial offender of it, you're going to get done.
I just find it really hard to take Lee seriously when he's sitting there talking about being late.
Listen, I'm never late. What are you on about? It's just bloody harsh. I get done with that.
This one comes in
very, very late. Very rarely late for football. And I can tell you this now, right?
Hurry up, Lee. You're going to make us late here.
No. Sometimes on a Sunday, you always get the big time players thinking that they can turn up a 10:15. You know what I mean? Oh, look, he's here and all that. Like, I've never done that. I was on, you know what I mean? I always was there. 5 minutes late.
Well, you did say the big time players, so that's why you didn't do it, obviously.
Listen, don't worry about that. I was always about 5 minutes late. I never pushed the boat. Right.
This one comes in from Bill, regular. Thank you very much, Bill, for
Bill.
kind donation, mate. Pepe seems to play so much better with Laka up front than Aubameyang. Also, I didn't realise we tried to sign Frank McAvenny in 1989. Great show, lads. # Big Mac.
We did.
Lee, did we try to sign Frank?
Yeah, we did try to sign. We tried to sign Frank McAvenny. It was a season we won the league. So 88, 89, we tried to sign Frank McAvenny. I think he went to Celtic, if I remember rightly. We also tried to sign Tony Cottee, and he went to Everton. And it left us with no striker really for that season. So Paul Merson was the player they went with. So it was a great bit of business that we never sold. We never got to get either one of them. We went with Paul Merson. The rest is history. Probably one of the best players that we've ever had at Arsenal. So and he done fantastically well. And then obviously Kevin come into the side then, and then after that was Ian Wright. Merce went out to the wide areas, and just behind them was superb for Arsenal. But yeah, Frank McAvenny. If I remember rightly, someone might be able to comment that he went to he chose Celtic because I think that was his home. I think that was his team at the time. And Frank McAvenny and Tony Cottee, I think for about 2 million went to Everton. I think something like that. So there you go.
Can I just say, Bill coming up there in the group chat and talking about Uber zooming off here in the car, zoom off. Like, didn't Bill do that once to us on a podcast? Didn't he?
In that Ferrari, he did.
He zoom off once in his car, Bill? I'm sure it was.
I don't care. He just bought us a Big Mac. I love him.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, let's talk about the penalty decision. Dan, we'll start with you. I've been arguing all day on Facebook with people trying to tell me that it wasn't a penalty, that the ball was gone when the challenge was made. So then I direct them to a video of David Luiz doing exactly the same thing against Watford. The ball is
brilliant one. That was great.
The ball is given away, or the shot is taken. Martinez gathers it. Luiz comes in from the side, takes him out, and it's a penalty. Penalty awarded. So these people who are trying to tell me that it wasn't a penalty because the ball was gone. Well, if the ball was gone, then that's a late tackle, isn't it? Whether the ball has gone or not. It's absolutely mental, the excuses I've seen. It's a stone wall penalty in any game of football. If it happens outside the box, it's a free kick. It's a stone waller. Even the still pictures I've seen of it today. Bruce Lee would have been proud of the flying kick that Sanchez went in on Lacazette. Dan, it has to be a penalty all day long.
Mate, it's spot on. Everything you've just said there, Craig, is spot on, mate. And I was on a Tottenham podcast last night after the game, which was very enjoyable, by the way. And they even admitted it at the end. They said, look, we haven't watched it back. We're going to watch it while you talk about it. And they both said, yeah, do you know what? I can see why it's been given. Unfortunately, a lot of people on social media, Arsenal fans, it's a penalty. The whole world, it's not a penalty. Who do you think's wrong? It's Arsenal fans crying about stuff again. It's always us, and it's always us crying. How no one can see that that's a penalty? The ball, and I'll say it again, the pass is magnificent. The touch from Lacazette obviously comes up and bounces up for him. And as he goes to hit it, it's an air kick. That has got nothing to do with whether it was a foul or not. It doesn't matter to me whether he puts it in the top corner, whether he doesn't strike it, whether he pats it, whether the keeper saves it. Davinson Sanchez, or the Colombian Mustafi, as I heard someone call him earlier, comes crashing into him and fouls him. So it doesn't matter to me whether the chance has gone, because it doesn't mean that if you miss something, it then just is a whole punch up for everyone and we can get away with what we want because the chance has gone. So just knock him out and you can get away with it. It's a foul. It's still play. The chance might have gone, but it's still play on. We don't all stop playing when someone misses the chance. It's play on. And the way that he's come in there is clumsy. Now, if someone doesn't believe that's a penalty, then it must be one of two things. He's won the ball. Well, he didn't win the ball. So what is it then? If he hasn't won the ball, it must be a foul. There's nothing more to say about it.
People are telling me, Lacazette kicked Sanchez. Of course he kicked him. He came in with a kung fu kick 4 foot off the ground. Of course, Lacazette kicked him. You know, I just don't see how anyone can say it's not a penalty. This one comes in from Bob. Thanks very much, mate, for your kind donation. You can see the argument, but it's not even in the top 10 debatable penalties this season. Seems to be always argued when it's given to Arsenal.
I love
never again.
I love that.
Absolutely,
I love that, and that is exactly what I'm saying. It's because it's Arsenal, everyone wants to start crying about what it is. That is a situation for me where it is not. Listen, all penalties are debatable. Yeah, they are all debatable. Everyone can say, "Oh, did he do this? Did he do that?" Now, if you're saying that Lacazette's kicked him, which he did, I agree with that. Then what is the defender doing then? Because he ain't won the ball. He's come crashing in. It's terribly clumsy. I mean, if people think that's not a penalty because it's a good challenge by Sanchez, they're wrong, because it's really not. It's absolutely dreadful what he's done.
I had a Spurs fan tweet me today on Twitter to say that Lacazette should have been booked for diving.
Oh my! See, this is the problem you get with this. It is unbelievable. That for me was a stonewall. It was a penalty, and I don't see where people are coming from with it. If they believe that it's not, and the answer is because the chance is gone, then it's a penalty. Because two things: one, you've just proved it with the David Luiz situation, and two, the game does not stop if you miss your chance. The game does not stop. So it doesn't mean you've now missed Lacazette. Sorry, you're going to get fouled, and we're not going to give a penalty because you fluffed your lines. That's not how the game works, unless the rules have changed overnight.
No. You're dead right, mate. Mark, what?
And I've got to just say something on that. Like, you know, you can get booked now for winning the ball. You win the ball in a tackle and it's it's seen as like a reckless tackle or whatever, even though you won the ball. So did he win the ball? No. Was he anywhere near the ball? No. Was it reckless? Yeah. Was it a foul? Yes. Penalty, 2-1 Arsenal, end of.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, look, I don't single him out, but look, it shouldn't have been a penalty. Then please type in the chat box there now how that's not a penalty. You know, I'm not going to have a go because it's a stone waller, Mark. It's a stone waller, mate. We played football for.
We'll argue it. He will, Mark.
Many years, and you know, it's just a penalty. It's a foul anywhere else on the pitch.
Yeah, I'd have been disappointed if it had been given against me. I've got to be honest.
There you go.
I like a bit of physicality, you know. I think what we're going down is a very dangerous route, isn't it? It's like if what you're saying is someone's running towards the goal or running towards the wing, and we see it loads of times, don't we, where a defender comes over, slides in, and they just knock the ball past them, and there's absolutely no chance of that striker. The referee now and the VAR now are going to have to make a decision to say, is that player quick enough to catch the ball before it goes over the byline? Is that what we're saying? Or are we saying that guy slid in late and he's took out that striker and given him absolutely no chance?
I honestly think, Mark, the penalty, it's a penalty, and the reason they've gone down the line when they're sending off people like David Luiz for what he done.
Exactly. It's a penalty, Lee. It's a penalty all day long. Because people are clever, aren't they?
Penalties for that. You've got to give that as a penalty.
It is a penalty, Lee. It's a penalty all day long because he's took him out. But what I'm saying is, if they're saying it's not a penalty, and they're saying because Lacazette has missed the shot, which is what they're saying. They're saying it's not fair because Lacazette's muffed it up. He's missed. And the fact that he's got clattered after the ball had no bearing on the shot. Well, I disagree. He can see in his peripheral view, he can see the lad flying through the air towards him. It's going to have an impact. The lad's done enough to put him off. And he's done too much. He's gone too far. But what I'm saying is, like if you knock it past someone and then draw the foul, this is the new professional foul. The referee in that, they're going to have to then make a decision like, can he catch that ball before it goes over the byline? And if the answer is no, he's knocked it too far in front of him. It doesn't matter that he's just had his leg broke, because he wouldn't have caught the ball if Matey hadn't have broke his leg. So it's not a foul. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I do.
But it is a foul because you've took the man out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's took the man out. It's a foul. But, like I'm saying to these people, if they're going to go down this route of saying, well, it didn't matter, it didn't affect the outcome of the thing, then the referees, what we're going to have to then ask the referees to do, and VAR, is to make these decisions all over the pitch. Was he in control of that ball, or had he lost control of that ball? And if he had lost control of that ball, then it's not a foul. Just you know what I mean? But I mean, then off the ball incidents, then you can't. If someone punches someone and they're nowhere near the ball,
Harry Kane
have a fight, you can't send them off.
Free kick. He died for a free kick. No, it wasn't. You know what I mean? You clearly see that he died for that free kick in the last minute. No one touched him.
Yeah.
He died for it, but no one's saying anything.
No one wants to talk about it. No one talks about it.
Because that's how you draw professional fouls now, don't you?
Yeah,
that's what he was doing.
So we draw.
Lacker's drawn the foul, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's put his body between the line of the direction that the defender can come across to tackle the ball. Lacazette's put his body in the way, and the fella's gone through Lacazette. It's a foul.
I mean, Mr. Everett here in the chat box is saying the defender kicked the ball. No, mate.
No, he didn't.
The defender did not touch the ball. That is so clear for everyone to see. Davinson Sanchez was off the ground, 3 or 4 foot up, 2 feet off the ground, and he clatters into a player in the penalty box. It's a penalty. It's an out of control late tackle. It's a penalty all day long.
There you go.
And what's a penalty, by the way? It's worth mentioning. You don't save those. It was a really good penalty. It's worth mentioning.
It was a brilliant penalty.
Was a great penalty. Calmness personified under so much pressure. And yeah, like Mark hit it on the nail on the head, mate. No goalkeeper saving that.
Ella's made a great point in the chat there. Put that comment up there. If it was Mustafi on Kane instead, second one from the bottom. If it was Mustafi on Kane instead, football fans and pundits wouldn't bat an eye and agree it was a Stonewall penalty.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely agree.
It's a great point there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a penalty. I don't know, you know what I mean?
I just don't see how anyone says it's not.
No, it's unbelievable.
When you see penalties given from David Luiz, right, the fella of Southampton, right, when you see penalties like that given, why are we questioning that one? Just as simple as that, like, it's a penalty. Yeah. End of.
Absolutely. Just want to bring this one in. The Lacazette shot is completely irrelevant. If Sanchez made that sort of tackle anywhere on the pitch, the referee's given a free kick.
Absolutely.
Well done, Adam.
Well done. Fantastic point.
Let's have a look here now.
Paul Neal says a little bit tired. The ref, Martin, he was a little bit tired.
Lacazette got bundled by Sanchez. Regardless of how bad the shot is, it's a penalty. Yeah. We can sit here all night going on about this, but we beat him. We beat him. I have that. That's all that matters. We beat them. So obviously a great result, and a result that will fill us with confidence going into the game on Thursday. Thank you very much for you all for watching. 500 of you.
Wow, thank you very much.
Just this evening. Thank you very much indeed. If you're watching on replay or just before you go, if you could all hit that like button for me, I'd really appreciate it. It lets us get noticed a bit more in the YouTube algorithm. So before you go, if you could hit that like button for me, I'd really appreciate it. Lee?
Thierry Henry on Sky Sports, and we've got 500 people in the house. That's great, that is, you know what I mean? So well done.
Is he playing for Wolves now? Is he playing for Wolves?
I don't think so. He might well be.
Put the shirt on again, is he?
No, it's great to see him back, actually. Did you hear what he said to Jamie Carragher? He said he came into the studio and he said to Jamie Carragher, he said, great to be back here with Jamie, 2 meters away, like it was always like in the games. Absolutely brilliant. Dan, we are Wednesday, Lee. We're back with a question of Arsenal.
Yeah, no problems.
So we'll see you all at about. Well, I'll put the time out on Twitter, but it'll be about 6 or 7 o'clock. So we're back with that on Wednesday. Thursday, I'm still trying to get something for you on Thursday. I'm having a day off tomorrow because my wife's got me up the ladders painting. And Friday, Dan, we'll have. Thursday. Sure, we can't do anything. Oh yes, Thursday. What am I talking about? Thursday, 4 Men and a Mic. Our new show.
We're not playing Thursday.
Yeah.
Is it not this Thursday?
Yeah, we're playing Thursday. Yeah, 6 o'clock
Playing
kickoff.
Thursday at 6.
Oh, it's 6 o'clock kickoff. Okay, well, if we can get that show going, we'll do it. Might do it afterwards. And then, of course, Friday, Dan, a team talk.
Yep, Friday at 7 o'clock. Arsenal West Ham preview for team talk on Friday night. So yeah,
there you go. 4 shows.
Who have you got on this week? Nigel Winterburn. He played for both.
He did play for both, but no, Nigel can't make it. It will be. I think it's me and Dan the Lawless, the legend that comes on from West Ham TV. He's a good lad.
Good.
So we'll get him on.
So 4 shows for you again this week, and of course, don't forget tomorrow night for all the night owls or people that are in Canada and America. The Same Old Arsenal USA on live on our YouTube channel. So on we march to the top 4. 10 games left. It can still be done mathematically. Until we see you again, take care of yourselves and each other.
Keep dreaming.
Up the Arsenal.
Come you go.